The tiny mountain man faced the giant widow and called her ma'am instead of wife. Jonathan White Elk stood 5'2" in his worn boots, his slight frame making him appear almost childlike against the vast mountain landscape that had shaped his understanding of survival and human dignity. Yet his gentle manner and intelligent eyes had earned him respect throughout the valley as a man who preferred books to bullets, despite the reputation for violence that had been necessary to establish his claim against competitors who questioned his right to settle on land that others considered too valuable for someone of his size. His marriage to Martha Standing Bear had been arranged through careful negotiations between their families. Yet the physical difference between them had been obvious from the beginning and had created social tensions that required both of them to demonstrate that their relationship was based on respect and genuine compatibility, rather than the convenience that some neighbors assumed motivated such an unusual pairing. The mountain widow's giant frame had been the subject of gossip since her first husband's death from fever, yet her reputation for practical competence and gentle character had made her an attractive marriage prospect for men who understood that real partnership required more than physical attraction or social convenience. The morning light painted their cabin in golden tones that emphasized the natural harmony of their domestic arrangements. Yet both remained aware that their relationship would be judged by community standards that often confused conventional appearance with genuine compatibility and would continue to create challenges that required patience and understanding to overcome. Martha Standing Bear had been raised by her father to understand that her size and strength were gifts that carried responsibilities as well as privileges. Yet her marriage to Jonathan had required her to learn new ways of expressing her protective instincts that would not be perceived as domination or control over a husband who was physically smaller but emotionally mature and spiritually strong in ways that made him an ideal partner despite his stature. Her giant frame had been carefully adapted to mountain life through years of independent survival after her first husband's death. Yet Jonathan's gentle teaching about the value of partnership rather than dominance had helped her understand that real marriage required both people to adapt their individual needs to create something larger than either could achieve alone. The morning passed in domestic cooperation that had become natural through months of learning to work together despite their size differences. Yet Martha's careful attention to creating spaces and arrangements that worked for both their proportions demonstrated her respect for Jonathan's dignity and her commitment to making their household arrangements function smoothly. Their morning routine had been refined through trial and error until it felt more like a dance than a series of separate tasks. Yet both remained aware that the public nature of their relationship would continue to require them to demonstrate that unconventional marriages could succeed when based on the right foundations of respect and understanding. The fire in their hearth burned steadily, providing warmth and light that made their small cabin feel like the foundation of a life that was more satisfying than either had expected when they first began planning their marriage. The community gathering that brought their marriage into public scrutiny revealed the complexity of social expectations that governed relationships between people whose size differences made them stand out in ways that attracted both admiration and criticism. Yet Jonathan's careful responses to the questions and comments revealed his understanding that their relationship would continue to be watched by neighbors who were either inspired by their success or skeptical about their chances of long-term happiness. His voice carried the careful authority of someone who had learned to speak with confidence, despite the tendency of larger people to underestimate his intelligence and maturity. Yet his gentle manner with Martha and obvious respect for her contributions to their partnership created an impression of mutual partnership rather than the domination that some people assumed characterized relationships between such different-sized people. Martha's response to the public attention was dignified but protective of her husband, her giant frame providing a visual symbol of the security she offered to someone who might otherwise have been vulnerable to the social pressures that surrounded unconventional marriages. Yet her obvious devotion to Jonathan made it clear that their relationship was based on genuine love rather than the pity or convenience that some neighbors assumed motivated her choice. The evening conversation after the gathering revealed their mutual commitment to maintaining the dignity and respect that made their marriage work. Yet both remained aware that public scrutiny would continue to create challenges that required them to demonstrate constantly that their relationship was based on the right values and genuine compatibility. The first crisis in their marriage came when Jonathan's brother appeared at their cabin, claiming that Martha had stolen his inheritance and demanding that she return family heirlooms that had supposedly disappeared when their father died. Yet the confrontation revealed the complexity of family relationships and the importance of maintaining dignity when accusations threatened to destroy the trust that had been built through months of marriage. Jonathan's response to his brother's demands demonstrated the protective instincts that had made him an effective husband despite his size, yet his careful attention to evidence and his refusal to allow emotional pressure to cloud his judgment created a foundation of trust that impressed everyone who witnessed their handling of the situation. Martha's cooperation in the investigation that followed revealed aspects of her character that had not been obvious during normal social interactions, yet her willingness to undergo public scrutiny in order to protect her marriage demonstrated her commitment to Jonathan and their shared values. The resolution of the crisis required both political skill and personal courage, yet their demonstrated ability to face challenges together with the unity and understanding that good marriages required created stronger bonds between them, while providing evidence that their relationship was based on genuine love rather than the social convenience that some people had assumed. The experience taught them both that their marriage would require constant protection and attention to maintain the safety and dignity that they had worked so hard to establish. The second phase of their marriage brought opportunities for them to contribute to the community through skills that each had developed independently before their marriage. Yet the project that brought them together with other couples revealed the practical benefits of their partnership and the ways that their different strengths could be combined to create solutions that would benefit everyone who participated. Jonathan's knowledge of reading and writing made him valuable for record-keeping and correspondence, yet Martha's practical skills with farming and construction made her essential for the physical work that was necessary to build the improvements that the community had planned. Their cooperation on the joint project created an atmosphere of mutual respect that impressed the other couples. Yet their obvious happiness in working together provided evidence that size differences were not obstacles to successful partnerships when based on genuine compatibility and shared values. The project ended with celebration that honored their contributions. Yet the real foundation of their continued happiness remained the personal commitment they had made to treat each other with dignity and respect, while building a partnership that honored both their individual needs and their shared goals. The evening conversation after the project ended revealed their mutual appreciation for the ways that their marriage had enhanced their ability to contribute to the community while maintaining the private happiness that made their life together feel complete. The spring brought news that Martha was expecting their first child, the announcement creating excitement throughout the community, yet also raising questions about how their size differences would affect pregnancy and delivery. Yet their careful planning for the baby's arrival revealed the depth of their commitment to making their unusual marriage work, despite any physical challenges that might arise. The preparation for the child's birth required them to adapt their household arrangements and their daily routines to accommodate Martha's changing condition. Yet Jonathan's careful attention to her comfort and his obvious pride in becoming a father created an atmosphere of anticipation that made the challenges seem manageable rather than overwhelming. The community's support throughout the pregnancy created a network of assistance that would be essential when the baby arrived, yet their demonstrated ability to work together through the difficulties of adaptation provided evidence that their marriage was strong enough to handle whatever challenges might arise. The evening conversations about their future as parents revealed their shared understanding that their child would benefit from being raised in an environment where differences were celebrated rather than judged, while their commitment to providing stability and love created a foundation of security that would support their family through whatever difficulties they might face. The anticipation of their child's arrival brought new focus to their marriage and renewed appreciation for the partnership that had made such happiness possible. The child's birth was celebrated as evidence that their marriage had been blessed, despite the size differences that had initially seemed so overwhelming. Yet the delivery brought complications that required both Jonathan's quick thinking and Martha's determination to survive the trauma that might have destroyed a less healthy woman. The experience of becoming parents revealed depths of cooperation and mutual support that transcended any challenges they had faced previously. Yet both found themselves relying on each other's strengths in ways that made their marriage feel more complete than it had been before the baby's arrival. The baby's healthy appearance and obvious happiness created a source of joy that extended far beyond their immediate family, to include the community that had been watching their marriage with interest. Yet the child's arrival also brought new responsibilities that required them to continue adapting to circumstances that were constantly changing. The dedication ceremony at the church was attended by people who had been skeptical about their chances of success, yet had come to appreciate the genuine affection and mutual respect they displayed when dealing with the practical challenges of frontier life. The evening ended with celebration that honored not just the new life, but the love story that had made it possible, while the future stretched ahead with promise for a couple who had learned that unconventional relationships could succeed when based on genuine love and mutual respect. The child's first year brought opportunities for Martha to demonstrate her commitment to the marriage by fully embracing her role as Jonathan's wife and the mother of their children. Yet her growing understanding of the practical challenges that came with raising a family in frontier conditions made her appreciate even more the gentle way that Jonathan supported her efforts while maintaining his own dignity and confidence despite his size. Jonathan's care for the baby revealed aspects of his character that had not been obvious before he became a father. Yet his natural gentleness and obvious love for their child made him an ideal parent, despite the physical challenges that came with being smaller than average. Their growing reputation as a family who had successfully adapted to frontier life despite significant size differences brought invitations to participate in community events that required them to represent the possibility of happiness that transcended conventional expectations. The experience provided validation for their marriage while creating opportunities for them to contribute to the community building that was essential to the future happiness of families who were learning to live together despite their different backgrounds. The evening conversations about their future revealed their continued happiness despite the challenges they had faced. Yet both remained aware that their unconventional marriage would continue to require constant demonstration that genuine love could overcome any obstacle when based on the right foundations of respect and understanding. The 5th anniversary of their marriage was celebrated with genuine community enthusiasm, yet the celebration was focused less on the past challenges they had overcome than on the future happiness that their continued partnership would provide for their children and the community that had learned to appreciate their example of unconventional love. Martha's full participation in community life had been achieved through years of careful integration that respected both her size and her contributions as Jonathan's wife. Yet her obvious devotion to her husband and their family created an atmosphere of acceptance that made their marriage seem inspiring rather than problematic to neighbors who had initially questioned whether such an unusual pair could succeed. The ceremony included recognition of their marriage as an example of how love could transcend size differences when based on mutual respect and genuine understanding, yet the real foundation of their success remained the personal commitment they had made to treat each other with dignity and respect, while building a partnership that honored both their individual needs and their shared values. The evening ended with dancing and celebration that honored their continued happiness while looking forward to the future they would build together. While the firelight painted their faces in expressions of contentment that made their unusual size differences seem like gifts rather than obstacles to the love that had sustained them through every challenge they had faced. The final chapter of their story brought the news that their marriage had influenced other couples in the community to develop relationships based on genuine compatibility rather than social convenience. Yet the most significant aspect of their success was the evidence that unconventional marriages could succeed when based on the right foundations of respect and understanding. The community that had initially questioned their relationship had come to appreciate the genuine happiness they displayed when working together. Yet their example of how size differences could be overcome through patience and love created opportunities for other families to build relationships that honored their individual differences while building partnerships that were stronger than anything that could be achieved through artificial social pressure. The evening ceremony blessing their continued happiness included recognition of the love story that had made their example possible, yet the real foundation of their future happiness continued to be the commitment they had made to treat each other with dignity and respect while building a life together that honored both their individual needs and their shared values. The sunset over their valley painted their future in golden colors that seemed to promise continued happiness for a couple who had learned that unconventional love could flourish when based on genuine respect and understanding. While their continued partnership provided evidence that the best marriages are built on character and compatibility rather than social convention or physical appearance. Sometimes love doesn't sound like, "I love you." Sometimes it sounds like, "Yes, ma'am," said with respect that could rebuild the whole world. Would you rather be loved deeply or respected completely?